Okay, here's your profound statement. It took me a long time to figure out how to make money in the stock market when I was right. Now, why do you guys think that is? That's the statement. Why do you think it takes people so long to figure out how to make money in the stock market when they're right? This isn't just some, dude that learned how to trade a month ago or whatever. This is like big dog, like Peter Lynch, Warren Buffett type people that are saying this. Yeah, it's an accumulation. It sums up how you learn how to trade. It's what it does. Because when you're first starting, you're like, man, is this an A plus setup? I don't know. Let me go small. Oh, I made a little bit of money. Oh, it was an A plus setup. Oh, okay. Is this an A plus setup? Maybe go a little bit bigger. Oh, that wasn't an A plus setup. I lost more money than I made. Man, I don't know how to tell what's good and what's bad and blah blah blah. Right? And so we just don't have conviction in our abilities to understand the market. Now, for you guys that have been trading with me in a while, who's probably the most conceited person you've ever met in your entire life? That would be me, right? One. I'm about as conceited as they get. So, me, are you, right? Right. So, that hurt me a lot when I was trading and I lost a lot of money, but it's helped me a lot when I've been trading as well. I can literally sit here and say, I think everybody else is wrong, but I'm right. Right. It takes some conceitedness to do that. And so in in trading, you have to be able to trust your conviction. Yeah, no, I'm much more cocky than Nate G. And the best way that I can describe this is I've had two instances in my life when I let somebody else make me fail. And I've said to myself, that will never happen again. If I fail, guess what? I'm going to look in the mirror and say, hey, you gave it everything you got, but, it didn't work. Instead of, man, this person, if I didn't listen to this person, if I wouldn't have done what this person did, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, and so you begin to trust your own instincts, your own beliefs, your own edges that you've created. And one of those things that I teach in here, especially on Tuesday, is just simply technical analysis, right? Understanding technical analysis. So I wanted to kind of go through that with you right here and right now, and then explain what Tuesdays are like. And if you guys enjoy this kind of stuff, make sure you're here on Tuesdays because this is what I do every Tuesday. I do it other days as well, but I don't have as much time. Here, let's run through that. Now, the overall thesis for me today is I think we're going to get some strength, right? So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to figure out where the bounce is going to come from, right? I don't know. I'll try it here. I'll stop out. I'll try it here. I'll stop out. And blah blah blah. Well, once you start getting a little bit of a pattern, you can start using your technical analysis skills. So I'm gonna pull this back to the beginning of the day. And before Nate jumped on, what did I tell you guys had to happen before we can start looking for a bounce? We have to come back up and test the VP of the previous level. So that's step number one, right? So step number one, wait till you start to get a little bounce. Oh, okay. Starting to get some push here, right? Oh, we are starting to test these recent highs. So it's going to be interesting if anybody can figure this out. Kind of fishing for an answer here. So if you can get it, you're super smart. When this happened, what do you think I was thinking? Actually, I'm going to switch this to the where there's no lines. me one sec. Here we go. Now there's no lines. It's a lot cleaner. You can see the technical analysis a lot better. There we go. Here we go. So as we're pushing here, um, what I was thinking, guys, here, I'll catch up on chat. Sorry. Yeah, so pullback and retest of daily lows. So Militime's got it. So ultimately, here, I'm just going to give away the first little hint. I don't know what you can see and what you can't, so I'm doing this slow. Oh, I think this is it. All right. Can you guys read this, or do I need to make it bigger? If you get a higher low here, right, there's a time frame. If you get a higher low here, buying a break of 580, 575 is a good idea, in my opinion. What would be happening? What chart would be happening? What chart pattern if we got some kind of higher low and then we started breaking this 575, 576 region? What possible chart could be forming? Yeah, it could be an inverted head and shoulders, right? It could be a double bottom with a higher low, right? It could be any of these things, right? We don't know. But what is the key thing to watch? Well, the key thing to watch is this right here where it says 575 to 579 is clear. Now, what does that mean? What do I mean when I say 575 to 579 is clear? Yeah, it's just air. There's no resistance. We should be able to go pretty easily to 578, 579, that general area where the next zone is. So remember how I always talk about zones? Well, that's where the next zone is. So we're breaking this zone and we're going to that zone. That's all that means. Right? And so the next thing is, all right, if we make a W, I'm definitely willing to play the break of that neckline, right? We make that W, so what would that look like if we had to draw this out? Well, boom, 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 and go. Now, here's something that's super important. Give me one sec. Let me find it. So what I said at 11:21 was do or die time here on the shorter time frame. Now, what did that look like? There's your higher low. And this candle here is 11:21. Now, why am I saying it's do or die time right here, right now? Like, what am I doing? What am I saying? Hey, on the shorter time frame, it's do or die now. Do or die time now. What's going to happen? Like, what needs to happen for it to make the W, and what happens if it doesn't? Remember, when you're trading, it's always these if-then statements. If this holds and starts to push, you're going to start to break that neckline, and you're going to go, right? So the reason that I was saying that is because what the chart looked like, I'm going to show you on E-Trade. real quick, I want to show you something. Okay, do you see this little bitty hitch of a VP right here? You see how that line sticks out a little bit? That's kind of your last ditch effort before you go to your lows. And so what happened here is you've got your low break, right? You broke back above it. There's your W. Well, guess what? That same level has to hold, or what's going to happen? And Nate G actually said it in here. What he said was, all right, we're either going to go or it's going to be a descending triangle. So at that point, it was do or die time on shorter time frame. It's either a descending triangle or a W, right? Well, what did we end up getting? Bam, it broke. So what chart pattern is this right here? That's a descending triangle, isn't it? So as we look, get rid of these lines. As we look at this, here is your descending triangle type look, right? Does everybody agree that that's a descending triangle? Guys, I'll catch up on all the answers after I do this. I apologize. I know there's stuff up there. So, according to the descending triangle technical analysis rulebook, what should happen on a descending triangle? What should happen? Well, here I'll pull one up and I'll show you. Here, it should break down, right? See how that's supposed to break down? That's ultimately what's supposed to happen on the descending triangle. The descending triangles often fail, one of the more failed patterns. And so once this didn't break down, do you guys remember my rule? What's my rule of 1, 2, 3? Everybody remember? Right? So it's like 1, 2, 3. Whoops, awfully big. 1, 2, 3. We should start breaking down. Right? We got a high chance of a breakdown here. 80-20, 50-50, 80-20 breakdown. It didn't. And this is why a lot of people consider the descending triangle bullish, because they actually do break up quite often. They do break down more statistically, but when they break up, it's very powerful. And so what happened? Bam. That's where you start breaking up. Now, do you guys remember the important level that I talked about at the very beginning of the training? What was that level? Like, that's the important thing that we need to pay attention to. That's the top side. Yeah, 575 is that level. So what are we doing, guys? We're trying to break out and push. We're over that 575. And it's a clearer picture if you look at it on the E-Trade from a VP perspective, because I want to show you something here. I want to show you what happens to the VP. So let me see if I can do it this way. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So looking at E-Trade, do you see the 575 to 570 533. That's your biggest, this is your biggest VP. Did you see how underneath there's not near as many people underneath as there is right here? Does that make sense? So if you were to look between 573.50 and go to 574-ish, there's not as much VP right here as here. Well, we know that because the lines are literally longer here, right? Like we see this VP being longer than this one. Well, this is what happens when things get legs, when things are starting to capitulate, consolidate. Watch what happens to these in comparison to that one, right? So as we scroll back, it's like, wow, that one's way bigger. Now watch. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, we're starting to get a little bit of, oh, look at this. Oh, wow. I'll get a little bit thicker. Maybe we need a little bit more legs to get up above that 575. That's why we rejected. We got to capitulate a little bit more, get a little bit more strength. Oh, look. It's getting kind of even now, isn't it? It's like, oh, maybe we finally got the legs. And so every time that I tell you guys, think about the justice scale, ready for my amazing art class, right? And she's holding like things over here to weigh out and things over here. Well, once it starts getting balanced, you could go either way. But until it gets balanced, right? That's why I sell resistance. And once it becomes balanced, you've got a shot at breaking out. And boom. There we go. Right? Does this make sense? This is what I do every Tuesday. I'll walk you through this minute by minute. I'll say, hey, this is what should happen. This is what it means if this happens. This is what it means if this happens. And this is how you end up making money, right? You create plans off of the understanding of how charts should react when certain things happen. Does that make sense? Okay, let me pause this recording and I'll catch up on questions.